Yo, what's going on, guys? This is your boy Otaku Heaven coming at you with a new manga chapter review. Today I'll be reviewing manga chapter of One Piece 801. Now, there is some huge news, and I can't stress huge enough coming out of One Piece today. And it's opening gates for things that'll be even vastly huger, or whatever the proper word is, but things are about to start going down. And before we even start this chapter, I'm going to give you what I think on it. This is a 10 out of 10, every bit of it. I like this chapter right here. And Oda is dropping mad hints with plot progression. Now, we'll start off with what happened at the very beginning of the chapter. The Revolutionary Army has already taken all the weapons, and we know this. And now we get to see Spondum and Lucci show up from way back in CP9. So here's some more of Oda's interweaving right here. We got to see a little small cutscene about that, and Lucci's bird doing a smart aleck response, and it was fairly funny. But after that, we got to see the Tontatas integrating with Dressrosa, and basically the Tontatas are King as introduces himself and his daughter Mancherry to all of the people of all the important people of Dressrosa anyway, showing that they're integrating their societies rather than just playing a back role like they always have of basically stealing everything and just very minor role in Dressrosa. And we got to see what what's his name, the little Tontata Leo. He actually had plans with all the other Tontatas to make statues. Now this is awesome in my opinion because Usopp is getting his name heard. He's becoming a brave warrior of the sea. He's fulfilling part of his dream already. He wanted to have a statue, preferably next to Noland, but it didn't happen yet. The Tontatas built not only a statue of him, but a statue of Luffy as well. Effectively, I believe, marking Dressrosa as Luffy's island, sort of like Whitebeard controlled Fishman Island for a long time, and plenty of other islands as well. Luffy may start doing that, and especially with a kingdom such as Dressrosa, which he has massively strong ties to. Um, then we got to see Fujitora's resolve. Fujitora's resolve stated that he would not head back to headquarters until he captured both Luffy and Law's head. And what was said by Osuru is Osuru was like, if you could have just helped me, then we could have had it done. And Sengoku's making a joke about it. You should just go ahead and go back if you just tell him Sakazuki can't be that harsh on you. And he's laughing the whole time about it. Then we got to see Doflamingo's thoughts on the whole situation. He's like, these puppets shouldn't have bit the hand that fed them. They weren't supposed to do that. And Osuru's just like, you've lost. Just accept it. He goes, well, just think about where the balance of power is going to be when these animals lose their source of food, and what's going to happen then. And we get to see a cutscene of who rules the seas now. A big epic, full-on page of everybody that matters, except for the Gorosei and the nobles. But anyway, we got to see who rules the sea now. The four warlords, one of the Shichibukai, perhaps. One of the let's see, one of the worst generation of pirates, or perhaps even the Navy. The Navy could rule the sea right now. We don't know much about it. And then Doflamingo makes a comment after that that says the nobles should be prepared to be dragged down from their throne and quit being so uppity, basically. And we got to see a cut of one of Doflamingo's subordinates, I guess you could say. You know how everybody had subordinate crews, such as Whitebeard and Luffy now. Well, apparently Doflamingo has a large following as well. Maybe not as much as the Warlord because he don't have that kind of power yet. But Doflamingo's subordinate crew is what I'm gonna call them now. Well, we haven't been confirmed yet, but they've got a captain named Jack. Basically, the one of Cap Jack's subordinates are spying on the ships that the Navy are carrying Doflamingo in, and he goes, they have enough power right there to destroy a country. All right, do we still want to go through with it? We got to cut back to Doflamingo. He's like, well, take me to Impel Down. If you are we going to Impel Down now? And if we are, at least give me my newspaper. Those are my only source of entertainment. And then Captain Jack responds back to his crew member and is like, of course we're attacking. Who do you think I am? So we'll get to see a bit of Captain Jack's new powers, along with how they fare against the Navy at the current standpoint, which probably won't be too much because Sengoku and Otsuru and that Fujitora, everybody's there. So Doflamingo is pretty much captured unless some miracle happens, which I seriously doubt is gonna happen. Then we got to see Etsirota's fan base crew, the Bartolomeo crew, and his ship. His ship has a little, I don't know what they call it, but this little, it's the thing that sticks off the front, like the Going Merry had the little ram head. It has a Luffy head on the front of it, and everybody is, and the crew is just like Bartolomeo over Luffy. They're crazy about him. So not only that, they have a Viver card on the front of the ship that always points them to Luffy. So it's a little bit overkill for that, but still had a little bit of funniness to it. And we got to see that Sabo actually made a Viver card for Luffy, and Luffy split off a bunch of those Viver card portions with all these new people. And if they do come back and change later, as opposed to not supporting Luffy anymore, and they have Sabo's Viver card, it could lead to some very bad circumstances that may happen later on down the road. Perhaps even one of them may be able to get strong enough to potentially kill Sabo if anything goes bad, and that'll be a very big plot point for Luffy as well as the rest of the crew. And then we got to see they're all headed to Zoe now. He's telling Bartholomew, "Well, let's go to Zoe now," and then they're starting to wonder about what everybody's how everybody fared against Big Mom's ship and if they're already there or not. And this is the big news right here. Well, one of the big news that we have, besides all the big news that's already been discussed. Everybody got new bounties. Now, Bartholomew, I guess he don't really care for law that much, I don't think, because I'm guessing how Luffy looks to law rather than him. But he goes, "Hey Trafalgar, I threw yours away, but your new bounty is 500 million." Now why he threw it away is beyond me. Besides what I just said, I thought, but everybody got a new bounties, and Luffy's their boss now. So I'm gonna look over here to pay attention to the bounties because there's no way I'm gonna remember them all this fast. But basically, everybody's bounty that was directly affiliated with the Dressrosa incident went up by at least 50 million. The Devil Child Nico Robin is up to 130 million now, and Roro no Zoro is up to 320 million berries, which he took out Pika. It's a pretty big thing right there. You get Pika's gigantic and he's powerful. You have to have some power to take out somebody like Pika. And Luffy is matched with Law now. They're up to 500 million berries apiece. And then we got to see Usopp. Usopp becoming the brave warrior that I see he is. He's got a huge bounty increase. His bounty increase goes up to 200 million. Plus, if Doflamingo's ever gets free, I wonder his bounty may stay valid. I'm not sure. So technically, he's still, if Doflamingo gets free, he goes back up to being the crew member with the highest bounty. And on their picture that Usopp had, they gave a picture of him passed out and bleeding after he took the direct hit from Sugar and everybody. And then we got to see Sanji. Finally, Sanji's photo has changed. It's different now. His bounty went up to 177 million, and there's something really strange about his bounty. Now, if you go watch, there's a dude on YouTube. He actually comes out and says that there's a theory that Sanji is a prince, and if this doesn't support that theory, I don't know what does. But anyway, for everybody's bounty, they say wanted dead or alive. For Sanji specifically, they stated they wanted alive only for the 177 million berries. And we got to see Soul King Brook. He actually went up a little bit to 83 million. Um, Chopper's cracked me up. I mean, they really need to give him more, but he didn't do anything this arc. I guess just because he was a member of the crew, then his bounty went up. His bounty actually doubled. He's worth 100 berries now. um, and the cat burglar Nami, she went up to 66 million. And that's I mean, like I said, she didn't really do that much. We as directly affiliated to Dressrosa, they really couldn't tell what Sanji and Nami and all of them did because none of that has made it to anywhere where it can actually be reported yet. So there could be another bounty increase for them fairly soon, but I seriously doubt anything like that's going to happen. Um, that's all for this chapter. And like I said, this chapter is a 10 out of 10. It's plot progression. Everybody moved up. Character progression. We got to see everybody get a new bounty. The plot progression, we got to see who's ruling. We got to see who's the candidates for ruling. We already know that. But we also got to see Doflamingo's thoughts on the D, Sabo giving out his Vivre card, and Luffy having or Bartolomeo having a Vivre card of Luffy, and Luffy splitting out the Vivre card between everybody else. We got to see Captain Jack. We got to see Fujitora. I mean, it's Fujitora's resolve to get Luffy and them before even ever going back to headquarters. The only way that might change is if headquarters calls them in for something. The Throne Games. This is one of the big portions right here. When it said who ruled the seas, who rules the seas, sorry, the Flamingos declaring the Throne Game. The Throne Game starts now because we don't have a good power scale for anybody right now. And then there's still the hidden element of the Gorosei, which are very possibly as strong as any of the admirals or potentially even Pirate King level from what certain theories are saying online. I've seen the theories, but I never watched them. But the Gorosei are still a major key factor that could be playing into who rules the seas and the throne games that are going on right now. So who's going to be ruling the throne games? In my opinion, right now I believe the Navy is probably the strongest because of Sakatsuki and Kizaru. Um, Fujitora, he's kind of on the back burner right now since he's just chasing Luffy and Law. Basically, Ryukyugu we don't know much about, so once we find out about Ryukyugu, we'll know a little bit more. And Blackbeard is not on. Hey, he has the power, but he doesn't know how to use it. I believe with enough skill to do anything right now to compare to everyone else. And we still don't know anything about Big Mom. We know a small amount about Kaido, which, like I said before, I believe he was given immortality via the first user of the Ope Ope no Mi fruit. And on top of that, we don't know much about. We know Shanks, but we don't know much about what kind of powers Shanks actually have, if any. Rather than he can just be a badass swordsman or have some kind of power, he's got to be some kind. He's got to have some kind of power to compete with you know what um Mihawk does, because Mihawk is the greatest swordsman in the world right now, as far as we know. Mihawk with his one sword doesn't beat. Sorry, Shanks with his one sword doesn't beat Mihawk. So where is Shanks' power level? We need to figure that out. There's a whole lot of power levels that should be coming in the near future, so we can see who's the real candidates for the throne game. Who of the seven warlords, the Shichibukai, will actually play into that role? But yeah, overall, 10 out of 10. Plot progression was great. Character progression was great. Art was, the same. It wasn't excellent, but I don't mind One Piece's art style like most people do. So like I said, this chapter is a 10 out of 10 in my book all day long. If you haven't read it yet, that's something you need to go do like right now. Stop whatever you're doing and go read this chapter. All right, peace.